So let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Firecracker 400 miles, 160 laps. His first pole at Daytona, Darrell Waltrip. Looking back through the field, Bonnet, Parsons, Marlin, and Shepard make up the fourth row. The interesting thing about this field, as we look at Baker and Bodine and Hillen sitting in the fifth row, is that there are a number of very big names sitting well back into the field. Richard Petty celebrates his 51st birthday here today. Patty Moise is the first woman to drive at Daytona in over 10 years. And way back at the back, because he was late for the drivers' meeting this morning, scheduled to start 18th, A.J. Foyt, but he will start 42nd. The field now moving toward turn number 3.
Yes, A.J. was late because he had been to Cleveland to qualify for an IndyCar race, and he was late getting back, didn't make the drivers' meeting, and the rule is you've got to go to the back.
42 cars are vying for a purse of $549,000. And, of course, that extra $150,000 to the points leader at the end of this race, the halfway point in the Winston Cup season. Now, the field under control of the pace car, moving off of the fourth turn. Darrell Waltrip, Kyle Petty making up the front row. Kyle Petty certainly looking for a win here in that Wood Brothers Ford. Excellent starting position. Every time they put the car on the outside of that front row, they seem to do very well at Daytona. Pace car peels off now. Starter, green flag in hand, checks the field over, looking for a green flag. Green flag flies. Waltrip jumps into the lead, filed by Petty as they run into the first turn. Second row stays aligned. Waltrip pulls out a bit of a lead there, and a surprising lead for this early.
Well, it is, Paul, because he did get the jump on the start, and that puts him in a very advantageous position now, because if he can get out and break the draft, then he can run by himself and hold his own.
So Waltrip comes to the backstretch. Already pulling out about a 6-car lead. The battle is for second place as Kyle Petty tries to hold off the challenge.
See someone there trying to find a place in line to get back in, because if you don't, you go way back to the tail end.
The key to Daytona, of course, as the field closes now down on the back of Waltrip's number 17, is the draft. If you can pull the draft, then you can win here. It is a critical factor. As now down to the inside, making his move for second place is Phil Parsons. And Parsons slides into second. As they come to the stripe, Davey Allison fell from 3rd to 9th in that first lap, and John, that is probably an example of exactly what the problem will be if you get out of the line of that draft.
Yes, it is. If you don't stay in line and stay in that freight train, you can move clear to the back, and Davey Allison just experienced that.
On the backstretch now, Darrell Waltrip, number 17, followed by the 55 car. That's Phil Parsons running in second place. Into the high bank, 31 degrees of banking at Daytona International. And back at the back of the field, one car beginning to lose an engine and a spin. Darrell Waltrip leads him to the stripe. 2 cars tangle, one of them Yarborough. Now several cars involved as we've got a melee coming off of the fourth turn. It began when one car started to have an engine go at the conclusion of the lap as he entered turn 4. And now you can see the results of that as oil sprayed on the track. Yellow flag, caution period here at Daytona. So Darrell Waltrip leads at the conclusion of the second lap with the caution out here at Daytona International. So the Firecracker is underway and under yellow, and we'll have more coming up later on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
What a chain reaction. I don't know why the spotters didn't have that up. Benny Parsons is one of the cars down there. Okay. Go ahead.
So the camera car is gone already?
Bud Moore's car. Bodine out. anybody now.
I think those are just waiting stages.
Okay, who lost it first, you know? Okay. Watch.
Yeah. Kulwicki and Yarborough. Denny, there was two more. Oh, the sound was incredible on that thumping. Did you hear that? Hear him thumping? Dropping sacks of sand.
The onboard provide anything? Let's take a look at this situation as we look at Alan Kulwicki's car, and keep an eye at the upper right-hand corner of the screen. That's Kulwicki. He lost control, John, I think because the engine let go.
Yes, and he collected Cale Yarborough, and of course Cale pinned this other car. Let's see, that's car number 90, Benny Parsons, who was gathered up, and then we see the chain reaction back in the pack. Kulwicki slides back across the track, collects two more cars. They get into each other, and it was quite a reaction. It's a wonder that more cars weren't gathered up in that. You can see Richard Petty right in the middle of the screen coming through.
6 cars actually involved: Brett Bodine, Benny Parsons, Cale Yarborough, Alan Kulwicki, Derrike Cope, and Ken Bouchard, all involved in this accident. And some Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. I will have just seen it for reference. Here you'll see the entire on the screen.
Yes.
Here's a look at the replay. Keep an eye on that upper right-hand corner. There is Kulwicki as he slides and slams into Cale Yarborough.
Collects Cale Yarborough, who in turn gets Benny Parsons and nails him. He spins across, and the chain reaction begins in the back. Kulwicki comes across the track, picks up 2 cars, and then other cars sliding, spinning. You can see Richard Petty coming through the center.
Typical chain reaction accident. Now from inside Benny Parsons' car.
You can see Benny hold his hand up there. He knew something was going on. He saw Kulwicki. Bang! He gathers him. He gets slammed into the wall by Cale, spinning around, and of course Benny's day is over.
And you can see too just how violent those impacts are as Benny was slammed around in the cockpit, pitched sideways twice there in that very short